Welcome to the video, everyone. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Welcome to any new subscribers to the channel. If you want to catch videos like this when I upload them, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some secrets with you to skyrocket your sales. Now, I sell on Amazon. I'm a full-time private label seller, and these are the techniques that I use to increase my sales. Now, PPC is a very powerful tool if it's used correctly. Now, a lot of people use it in the wrong way, so we're going to look at the right way to use it. We're going to break down what PPC is, what an ACOS or ACOS is, and how to fully optimize and refine your PPC campaigns to skyrocket those sales, which is obviously what we all want to see. Now, I've recently launched a new product. I've been applying these techniques to that new product and seen some fantastic results. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Welcome to the video, everyone. Thanks for joining me. So, how to skyrocket your Amazon sales. This video is going to be intended for advanced sellers, for intermediate, for beginner, absolutely anyone who's looking to better their performance on Amazon. So we're going to go straight into this and have a look firstly at one main theme within this video, which is pay-per-click advertising. So we'll jump straight in and look at this. So PPC. We're going to look at some of the more basic elements first of all. What is PPC? What is it used for? And then we're going to sort of drill down and we're going to look at a more detailed, advanced approach to how to boost your sales. And I'm going to break this down for you in a manner, in a way that is easy for you to understand and digest. So PPC stands for pay-per-click advertising, okay? It's Amazon's internal advertising system. It's not the only way to drive traffic to your Amazon listing. We have external means of doing so and other ways, but it is my preferred choice and something that, if used correctly, is very, very effective. So again, let me give you an example. So when you launch your first product, you imagine the category. Imagine we're selling iPhone mounts. Currently, you would have listings on the first page. So if you searched for the keyword or search term iPhone mounts, you would have 12 listings on the first page. They would be called organically ranked listings. So listings that are not paying to be in that position. Okay, they've likely followed a very rigid and stringent plan to get up to the first page, and they don't have to pay anything to be sitting there. They are organic. Okay, now we can also have what's called a sponsored ad. So when you're browsing on Amazon, you might have a look now. As well as these organic listings, you will see sponsored ads from sellers like you who have just launched a product, or generally from other sellers that are trying to advertise their product on the first page when they're not organically ranked there. So they are paying to be on that first page. Now, we call that an impression. So when a listing is visible on the first page through a sponsored ad or the second page, it would be classified as an impression. Now, you don't pay for impressions, so you don't pay to be visible on the first page. You only pay per click, right? PPC. So you only pay when someone clicks on your ad. So our job is to boost those conversions, increase your conversions so that if 100 people click on your ad, 50% of those people buy. You have 50 sales. We want that conversion to be high. If that's the case, you will start to rank organically for your search terms. Remind yourself what I mentioned a few moments ago. You will start to be visible on the first, second, third page without having to spend on PPC. Okay? Now, people worry about PPC. It's nothing to worry about. It is a vehicle. It's something that we use to increase our BSR, to increase our organic ranking, and it's a means to an end. I still use PPC now, but nowhere near to the extent that I did when I started. Now, when you initially launch a PPC campaign, the cost will come out of your profits, so you don't have to pay Amazon any more money to launch a PPC campaign. It just comes out of your fortnightly payments from Amazon, right? So again, this is a very powerful tool when used correctly. PPC campaigns need to be reviewed every few weeks so we can optimize, right, and make things better. So what I want to do firstly is look at what's called an ACOS, right? ACOS. So we're going to jump down to that. I hope everyone understands what PPC is, right? So we're going to look at a lot of detail here and exactly how to boost those sales. And like I mentioned in the start of this video, right at the beginning, I've applied these techniques to my listings, and one in particular recently, and seen some very, very dramatic increases in sales. So ACOS is your advertising cost of sale. This is a very important key metric that you need to bear in mind and you need to be aware of when you're running PPC campaigns. So this is something that needs to be constantly evaluated. Now, you're probably thinking, what on earth is an ACOS? So stands for, again, advertising cost of sale. So let's look at a nice simple example. If you spend £10 on a Monday on advertising for this product we've just launched, we spend £10 on PPC ads, so we've £10 worth of clicks on this product, and we make £100 worth of sales directly from that PPC. We're not factoring any organic sales now. If you're a new seller, you're unlikely to have them. It's all going to be through PPC at the beginning. So £10 ad spend, £100 in sales. You would have a 10% ACOS, okay? Now, I've used a nice simple example. Now, I'm going to show you how to actually calculate your ACOS. So let's look at this underneath. So advertising cost of sale equals ad spend. So our ad spend, we said, was £10, okay? Now, if we divide that by 100 sales, £100 in sales, like we mentioned, equals 0.1. Now, 0.1, if anyone understands maths, 0.1 is 10%, right? 0.10, we could look at that as we could look at it as 0.10, which is 10%. Okay, so that's how you work out your ACOS. So we're going to look at another more complex example. So let's say you spend £7 a day on PPC and you make £75 in sales. So £7 on PPC, £75 worth of sales. So £7, we can see here, ad spend was £7. We divide that by our sales, which was 75, and we have a 0.09, so that would be a 9% ACOS, okay? Now, the lower the ACOS, the better, right? Because, if we're spending £50 a day on advertising and we're only having £75 worth of sales, we've got a 66% ACOS. That's quite high. We've spent £50 just to get back whatever I typed in just before then. So we want to have a lower advertising spend if possible. Again, if we spent £5 on advertising and we made £200 worth of sales just exclusively through that £5, we would have a 2% ACOS, which would be tremendously low. I've never seen any ACOS as low as 2%. So that's how we work our ACOS out. And you can see that obviously the lower, the better. The least you spend and the more that you yield from that spend obviously puts you in an advantageous position. So now we're going to look at something that's very, very important, which is looking at your break-even ACOS, right? What on earth are you talking about, Dil? Right, well, hopefully you understand PPC and ACOS by this stage. So your break-even ACOS is another metric which is super, super important. Now, let's have a breakdown of what this is. So let's imagine this chart is all of your costings for your product. So the 8%, 20, this is obviously all comprises to 100%. So from this section here, down to here is everything that you've spent on to get your product over, shipped, VAT, everything, all your Amazon fees, everything that you've spent on that product. And what's remaining is your profit margin, okay? Everything that you spend on your product, X, Y, and Z, what's left over is your profit margin. So of the sale price, of the 100% with the cost that we're looking at here, this particular product has got a 22% profit margin. Now, why is that important? Okay, well, let's think about it. If our ACOS exceeds 22%, right? So if our ACOS that we just looked at in the previous slide is more than 22%, then you're not going to be making any money. So let's look at a nice simple example. Let's look at the £100 example. So if you've got a 22% profit margin and you make £100 worth of sales, you make £22 in profit. Nice and simple. So that's your profit margin. Now, if we are running a PPC campaign and our ACOS is more than 22%, So if we're spending £30, it's 30%, we're spending £30 for every £100 that we make, then we are losing money because we're only making £22 every £100 that we make. So you need to establish your break-even ACOS, and in this scenario, it's 22%. So if you ran a campaign with Amazon's internal advertising system and your ACOS was 22% and your profit margin was 22%, you would be breaking even. So if that campaign was, was spending £22 a day and you were generating £100 worth of sales, you would be breaking even because the £22 that you have spent on your advertising is essentially your profit margin that you're using. So once you've established your break-even ACOS, right, all of your costings, we can then look at how to create an effective campaign. And that brings me on to the next slide. So what is your target ACOS? You're probably thinking now, well, Dill, how do I know what my target ACOS should be? Well, let's have a look at this little breakdown. So we can see here, product margin breakdown before ad spend. So again, as I mentioned before, these breakdowns here, Amazon fees, logistics overheads, and we have a 22% margin. So our break-even ACOS is 22%. Any higher than that, and we're losing money on that ad campaign. Now, sometimes that does need to happen. You actually do lose money when you create PPC campaigns just to generate sales, and sales will increase your organic ranking and will, it's again a means to an end, and in the bigger picture, it's usually still worth it, assuming you don't go too high over your break-even ACOS. Especially when you're an established seller, you want to be well within your break-even ACOS. So if we look at this here, target profit margin. So you could have the mindset that on a PPC campaign, when you know that you break even if it's 22%, well, this campaign's worthwhile if we almost halve it. So when we look at this here, we have our target profit margin at 10%. So if we want to attain a 10% target profit margin, okay, when our profit margin is 22% and our break-even ACOS is 22%, then our ACOS would be a target of 12%. Now, think about that for a moment. If your ACOS is 12%, 22% minus 12% would equal a 10% margin on that campaign, which means you're making money, okay? Even if your advertising campaign is not making you your full profit margin of 22%, which it's not, because you're using 12% of that profit margin to get sales, to be advertised on that first page, your profit margin will narrow. But we can see here, an effective campaign using this example would be 10% target profit margin. So that breaks it down. You can see here a little further breakdown as well. So it does start to get a little bit complicated, right? Which is why I work with my students so closely on this particular theme and on this subject, because it's so important. So let's have a look. How can you improve your ACOS and skyrocket your sales? So again, the lower the ACOS, the better. So how can we improve it, right? How can we get this ACOS even lower? The lower the better. So what we want to do, now this is important, this is one of the most important pieces of information that you're ever going to hear about Amazon. Now, one thing that Amazon provides you, which is absolutely priceless, it is the most useful piece of information that you could ever have from Amazon, which is the search term report from your PPC campaigns. Now, what that means is, if you run a 2-weekly campaign, like I mentioned here, 2 to 3 week campaign, and then you evaluate that campaign, what I mean by evaluating the campaign is looking at what search terms people are typing in that are converting to sales. So that report, the report of your ad campaign that you've created, you will actually be able to find out what terms have customers been typing into the Amazon search bar, which have subsequently led to a sale. Now, think about that for a moment. You know what your customers are typing in and what's resulting in them buying. Wow, okay. That's a very valuable piece of information. So we can use that. So we run an automatic PPC campaign initially, which Amazon will throw out a load of search terms in the campaign related to your product, related to your listing, and you can start to work out what search terms are working for you, right? Once you've done that for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you can download a search term report from your Amazon Seller Central ad campaign. Now, I mentioned that search report will show you the keywords that are working well, or it will show you the performing keywords. Now, there's a more advanced technique that, again, I get into in my course. I haven't got time to run it. This is, again, looking at a really detailed way of actually optimizing this campaign, but we'll look at it in depth enough for you to understand how to do it. But I won't have time to run into it, because it might take me 30 minutes to do that. So if we look at what keywords are performing, okay, we can extract those keywords from that search term report, and we can use those keywords in a different type of campaign, which is called a manual campaign. So we can get rid of all the keywords that aren't working, right? In that automatic campaign, we'll have a list of 1,000 keywords. You can actually work out, again, slightly advanced, your break-even ACOS, and you can filter that report to cut off the keywords that aren't within your break-even ACOS. Get rid of them. Anything that is within your break-even ACOS, the performing keywords, we put them into what's called a manual campaign. Now, a manual campaign, you tell Amazon what search terms you want your ad to be shown for. So if I'm selling this, one very effective keyword for this, if I looked at my search term report, might be black iPhone adjustable mount. It's exactly what the product is, but you'll find there's a lot of different variables that you will never think of that people are typing in and buying this, which is why the automatic campaign is so important, because you find out what those terms are. So we can then target using these keywords in a manual campaign. Now, we have different types of keywords. We have exact matches, phrase matches, and we also have broad matches as well. You can choose which ones that you want to use in your manual campaign. I would suggest a mixture of exact and phrase. Broad essentially means Amazon will match your keyword to anything that sort of relates to your keyword, and often you will find your product is being advertised for keywords that aren't relevant. So I don't particularly advocate broad keywords as an effective means of targeting specific customers and keywords. Well, phrase and exact, on the other hand, are very different. So phrase, being a very good example, would mean that you can essentially manipulate the order of the keyword. So I could say, I want to target iPhone mount. iPhone mount is the phrase match. We call it a phrase match, iPhone mount. Now, when a customer searches, the search will have to have iPhone mount in the search, but there could be words before or after those two keywords in that particular order. So large iPhone mount, small iPhone mount for phones. Probably wouldn't type that in, but you will never know what some people type into Amazon. Or iPhone mount for kids. A phrase match which allows you to have words before and after your search term. Now, exact is self-explanatory. An exact search term just means there's no variables, there's no variance, it's just exactly what you type in. If I typed in black iPhone mount, that's it. The customer has to type in that exact phrase for your ad to be shown up, which means your ad will be shown up less. But hey, if you know that a particular search term is very, very effective and is converting very well, you can increase your bid on those converting keywords and you can input them as exact matches, right? Negative keywords are important as well, and we're coming to the end now. So a negative keyword is a keyword that you can input into your manual campaign on Amazon, PPC campaign, that you don't want your product to be shown up for in the search results. So let me give you an example of this. So again, look, here's an example. So let's say you're selling a thermometer, okay? The kind you use to check your body temperature. And you put in the phrase match thermometer. Remember we said a phrase match, you could have words after or before that word thermometer. So let's say a shopper is searching for a meat thermometer. So we've got a butcher, right? He wants to check the temperature of his chicken. So that type of thermometer. So again, you obviously wouldn't want meat thermometer to be shown up when you're selling a body temperature thermometer. And again, if you put that in as a phrase match, it would show up if someone typed in meat thermometer, because like we said, it allows words before and after. So this would be a keyword that you exclude from the campaign. Something to think about, food for thought. So how do we increase our sales? all of these important factors will massively increase your sales. As well as that, we've got three main things three main things, right? Price, images, and reviews. All of those three collectively will also improve the performance of your campaign. Good reviews, very, very good images, and very attractive price and fair price. So again, if we look at your images, why have I chose cats? I love cats, so I thought, why not? Let's chuck 2 pictures of cats. I'm not selling a cat on Amazon, I'd be banned. Let's pretend that I'm selling a cat mat. Think for yourself, I prefer this one. So what we can do is split test our images. So you can run this campaign with this main image for 2 weeks, see what the results are, and then we can swap over to this campaign. You might have a better click-through rate. People might be clicking on your ads more with this cute little cat over here, right? So lots of different things that we can do. Now, remember, I have got a free Amazon FBA group. This is a community of like-minded individuals. Everyone on here is super friendly. We're growing a family and everyone is sharing their experiences. So feel free to join that Amazon FBA group for free. The link is down below in the description. If you are super serious about Amazon FBA and you are looking to really make waves on the scene and get started quickly without any stress and in an easy manner, then you should consider my Amazon Superseller course. So I've created the Amazon Superseller Academy out of my passion for teaching and my expertise with Amazon FBA private label. I have a website, theamazonsuperseller.com. Not a sales pitch, but feel free to go and take a look at that. What it includes at the moment, we've got some really, really attractive offers that are going on for a limited time. So go and check it out. Every single thing you need to know about Amazon FBA private label, all in one centralized place with me as your personalized mentor, or personal, can't personalize me, but I'm your personal one-to-one mentor. So think about it. I hope this video has been helpful and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.